Harlan Ullman is a former senior naval officer. He is also a senior advisor at the Atlantic Council and the chairman of the Killowen Group, a strategic advisory firm, and joins us now live from Washington, D.C. It's good to see you again, Harlan. Thank you for being with us. So this idea of the U.S. Navy helping ships through the Strait of Hormuz has been floated for weeks, almost since this conflict began. The military response has always been that it's being looked into, but it is complex. So why is the administration taking this action now?
That is a very good question, and I cannot answer that. If this is the prelude to negotiations and Iran is going to be passive in allowing ships to be able to transit the Gulf, this is a great first step. But, and there's a big but, is the strait mined? Is this going to cause all sorts of potential damage? Will the Iranians allow U.S. warships to do this? I hope that they will. I hope this is a breakthrough. Because look, if you think 6 months forward and we've denied the world 20% of its energy exports, huge amounts of its phosphorus that's essential for fertilizer, we could have an economic global catastrophe. So if, and it's a big if, that this is a first step in allowing the opening of the straits, I absolutely agree. But we will see what happens. I hope Iran does not take any actions to try to prevent it. I hope there are no mines that are going to impede the progress. But if this works well, and as I said, a big if, this could be a first step in resolving this particular crisis, which is in everybody's interest, the United States, Iran, the Gulf countries, and the world at large, because without access to all the elements that the Gulf has in terms of energy and phosphates, we are at great risk.
Right. And I mean, you mentioned mines specifically, but what are the other dangers and difficulties that CENTCOM will face trying to do this mission?
Iran may say, we don't want U.S. warships doing this. They have huge amounts of drones and small craft that could make this very, very difficult. I would hate to see a confrontation when an American warship is hit, because then the Americans will have no other option except to retaliate. So I hope there's been some discussion. Perhaps the Pakistanis or the Omanis or the Saudis have been instrumental in some kind of a pre-negotiation to let this happen. But the only solution, let me say this again, the only solution to the crisis is a reopening of the straits and then a long diplomatic negotiation with Iran to deal with its nuclear ambitions. This is the first step. Well done to the Trump administration, but if it's only been half thought out and can lead to escalation, it could be a disaster.
Harlan, what could something like this conceivably look like?
Well, it looks like it's ships transiting the Strait of Hormuz.
I mean, I'm sort of imagining, do they encircle the tanker and move it through in sort of a protective, in that sort of situation, what does it look like?
Well, you have a series of tankers going through, and you've got escorts standing off the tankers, escorting them with a lot of air power and other support. The question is whether the Iranians allow this to happen without any kind of interference. If they do, this is a great first step, because the global economy needs access to the Gulf. And if we don't get that, I have used AI to forecast what could happen in 6 months if the Gulf remains shut. It's an economic catastrophe. We'll lose $4 or $5 or $6 trillion in trade. Countries will have real difficulty in growing crops. Gasoline will grow to $7 or $8 a gallon in the United States. There'll be chaos. So I hope this is a first step in negotiation. I hope the administration has been clever enough, but we will see what happens. And if Iran does not oppose the transit, then we know we're on the way, possibly to a first step to resolve some of the critical issues here.
I mean, that would be, as you say, good news, especially for some of the people and ships that have been trapped in the Gulf for over 60 days now. I wonder, in your estimation, how would you decide in this situation which ships get to go first?
Well, That's a very good question, but I would say let's have the ships that have been there longest go first. The United States may say there are some ships that need to go have higher priorities to China or India, and especially Pakistan, who has been an intermediary here. But normally we get 120 ships a day going through the Gulf. We want to maximize that issue. The question is, what does Iran do? And if Iran allows this to happen passively without any kind of contradiction or interdiction, then we're on the way to get some kind of a negotiation. If only the Trump administration understands that negotiation, not bombardment, is the only way this will be solved to some degree that will not disrupt the international economic order.
So once again, we wait to see. Harlan Ullman, former senior naval officer, senior advisor at the Atlantic Council and chairman of the Killowen Group. Thanks for being with us on Al Jazeera.